कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी धव जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Shri Shri Gauranitai. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, साम्यत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायस्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया, भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 42, text number 1. Yes. Okay, we can read the summary also. So welcome everyone for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So I'm grateful for having given this opportunity. Thanks to Dharmatma Prabhu and the devotees. So today is also the disappearance of Gopal-bhatta Gosvāmī. So first we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam, and we'll also discuss something about Gopal-bhatta Gosvāmī's life. So let's first read the summary. Okay, first you can do the Mangalacharan. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुवैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So chapter 42, the breaking of the sacrificial vow. We read the summary first. This chapter describes the benediction Trivakra received, the breaking of the sacrificial vow, the destruction of Kamsa's soldiers, the inauspicious omens Kamsa saw, and the festivities at the wrestling arena. After leaving Sudama's house, Lord Kṛṣṇa came upon Trivakra, a young hunchbacked maidservant of Kamsa's, who was carrying a tray of fine ointments. The Lord asked her who she was and requested some ointment from her. The Lord asked her, Entranced by his beauty and joking words, Trivakra gave both Kṛṣṇa and Balaram a good deal of ointment. In return, Kṛṣṇa stepped on her toes, his feet, took hold of her chin and lifted, thus straightening her spine. The now beautiful and charming Trivakra then grabbed the edge of Kṛṣṇa's upper cloth and asked him to come to her house. Kṛṣṇa replied that after he had taken care of some business, he would certainly come and relieve her mental torment. Then the two lords continued their sightseeing tour of Mathura. As Kṛṣṇa and Balaram walked along the king's road, the merchants worshipped them with various offerings. Kṛṣṇa asked where the vow sacrifice was to take place, and when he arrived at the arena, he saw the wonderful bow, which resembled Lord Indra's. Despite the guard's protest, Kṛṣṇa forcefully picked up the bow, easily strung it, and in an instant broke it in half, producing an ear-splitting sound that filled the heavens and struck terror in the heart of Kamsa. The many guards attacked Kṛṣṇa, crying out, "Seize him, kill him!" But Kṛṣṇa and Balaram simply picked up the two halves of the bow and beat the guards to death. Next, the lords annihilated a company of soldiers sent by Kamsa, and then they left the arena and continued their tour. When the people of the city saw the amazing prowess and beauty of Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, they thought they must be two chief demigods. Indeed, as the residents of Mathura gazed upon the lords, they enjoyed all the blessings the gopis had predicted. At sunset, Kṛṣṇa and Balaram returned to the cowherd's camp for their evening meal. They then passed the night comfortably. But King Kamsa was not so fortunate. When he heard how Kṛṣṇa and Balaram had easily broken the mighty bow and destroyed his soldiers. He spent the night in great anxiety. Both while awake and while dreaming, he saw many ill omens portending his imminent death, and his fear ruined any chance for rest. At dawn, the wrestling festival began. Crowds of people from the city and outlying districts entered the arena and took their seats in the lavishly decorated galleries. Kamsa, his heart trembling, sat down on the royal dais and invited Nanda Maharaj and other cowherd men to come sit in their places, and they did so after offering him their gifts. The musical overture then began, and the sounds of the wrestlers slapping their arms resounded. And today's text 1, śrī-śuka atha vrajam rāja-pathena mādhavaḥ striyaṁ gṛhītāṅga-vilepa-bhājanām vilokya kubjām yuvatīṁ varānanām prapaccha yāntīṁ prahasan rasa-pradaḥ śrī-śuka atha vrajan rāja-pathena mādhavaḥ striyaṁ gṛhītāṅga-vilepa-bhājanām vilokya kubjām yuvatīm varānām prapaccha yāntīṁ prahasan rasa-pradaḥ śrī-śuka atha vrajan rāja-pathena mādhavaḥ striyaṁ gṛhītāṅga-vilepa-bhājanām vilokya kubjām yuvatīm varānām prapaccha yāntīṁ prahasan rasa-pradaḥ atha vrajan rāja-pathena mādhavaḥ striyaṁ gṛhītāṅga-vilepa-bhājanām vilokya kubjām yuvatīm varānanām Mataji's. śrī-śuka atha vrajan rāja-pathena mādhavaḥ striyaṁ gṛhītāṅga-vilepa-bhājanām vilokya kubjām yuvatīm varānanām prapaccha yāntīṁ prahasan rasa-pradaḥ śrī-śuka Śukadeva Gosvāmī said, atha, then, vrajan, walking, rāja-pathena, along the king's road, mādhavaḥ, Kṛṣṇa, striyaṁ, a woman, gṛhīta, holding, aṅga, for the body, vilepa, with ointments, bhājanām, a tray, vilokya, seeing, kubjām, hunchbacked, yuvatīm, young, vara-ānanām, with an attractive face, papraccha, he inquired, yāntīṁ, going, prahasan, smiling, rasa, of the pleasure of love, pradaḥ, bestower. Śrī Śukadeva Gosvāmī said, as he walked down the king's road, Lord Madhava then saw a young, hunchbacked woman with an attractive face who carried a tray of fragrant ointments as she walked along. The bestower of the ecstasy of love smiled and inquired from her as follows. Purport. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the young hunchbacked girl was actually a partial expansion of the Lord's wife, Satyabhama. Satyabhama is the Lord's internal energy known as Bhu Shakti, and this expansion of hers known as Prithvi represents the earth which was bent down by the great burden of the countless wicked rulers. Lord Kṛṣṇa descended to remove these wicked rulers, and thus his pastime of straightening out the hunchback Trivakra, as explained in these verses, represents his rectifying the burdened condition of the earth. At the same time, the Lord awarded Trivakra a conjugal relationship with himself. In addition to the given meaning, the word rasa-pradaḥ indicates that the Lord amused his cowherd boyfriends by his dealings with a young hunchback. Hare Krishna. Seeking blessings of senior Vaishnavas, Devashakti Mataji and all others. So, we'll discuss a little bit on this beautiful pastime. So, as we are hearing, this is Krishna's entrance to Mathura. It's also called Mathura Vijay. And a lot of dramas are performed in this pastime because very dramatic how Krishna and Balram, they enter Mathura with their cowherd boys. In the previous chapter we have seen that how there was a washerman, Dhobi, right? And Krishna wanted clothes from him, but he denied. And Krishna just finished him with the tips of the nails of his fingers, just finished the washerman. It is said in Chaitanya Bhagavat, this pastime has been mentioned by Mukunda Datta when he was offering prayers to Mahaprabhu during Mahaprakash Leela, that washerman had performed pious activities for many, many lifetimes. And that is how he got the opportunity to have darshan of Krishna. But the problem was that he didn't have bhakti. He did piety, but no bhakti. And therefore, even though Krishna came, he asked him for clothes. But, what was he was having such a great opportunity. He could have easily given the clothes, but he denied. And what happened? He lost his life and lost his golden opportunity to render devotional service to Krishna. Because he didn't have that bhav, that no devotion feelings. So therefore, it is said that even we can have darshan of Krishna, but if we don't have bhakti, then we'll not have any advantage. So bhakti is so important. So in that context, this example is given that although Krishna personally came in front of the washerman, but because he had no bhakti, he could not do a simple service. Because bhakti means what? Doing some service for Krishna. Prabhupada therefore beautifully translated always bhakti as devotional service. You want to render some service to Krishna. But that washerman, because he didn't have any bhakti, he could not render service and he was finished. And then we saw that how then Krishna took all the dress. Then there was a tailor who actually made the dress in proper size because the dresses were meant for Kamsa and Krishna was a little smaller. So the dresses had to be altered and resized. So he did that service, tailor. And then we saw Sudama, florist, who offered nice, beautiful flower garlands. So when we actually decorate Krishna, those who are doing deity worship must be knowing, what we do? First we dress, and then we put on garlands, flowers, and after that we have to apply chandan, right? Sandalwood or some ointments, right? So now Kṛṣṇa was already dressed in new clothes, Kṛṣṇa and all his friends, they already got nice garlands, and what was the next thing? Getting chandan, sandalwood or some ointment. So now comes kubjāṁ, who was actually carrying, they said ointments, that means various kind of ointments, but basically sandalwood, some perfumed oil, etc. So she was carrying all that for Kamsa. But when Kṛṣṇa approached her, so in today's verse we are seeing that so Kṛṣṇa just smiled at her and asked something, which we'll see in the subsequent verses. So we all know the story. In short, we read the summary also. So Kṛṣṇa actually first he tells, "Oh beautiful lady." So is it that Kṛṣṇa is sarcastically saying? No, the Acharyas said no, because Kṛṣṇa was about to make her very beautiful. Although she was kubjā or hunchbacked, kubjā means bent at the waist, kubjā. And also trivakra, because she was bent in three places. So imagine how a person will look like. Will he look attractive? No. If somebody is bent at the back and bent in three places, not look attractive. But Kṛṣṇa, he called her that, "Oh beautiful lady," because very soon Kṛṣṇa was about to make her very, very beautiful. We'll see that later. So when kubjā, she applied all the ointments and sandalwood, everything, and she became very beautiful. And she actually offered, she invited Kṛṣṇa, "Oh Kṛṣṇa, please come to my house." But Kṛṣṇa said, "Not now. Now I have to kill Kamsa and do some important things. Later I will come." And actually we'll see after killing Kamsa, and actually Kṛṣṇa will go to kubjā. In the later chapters we'll see. He'll go to kubjā and fulfill her desires. And actually we'll see that how Kṛṣṇa actually removed the lusty desires from kubjā. That is the beauty of coming in touch with Kṛṣṇa, that even though we may have akama sarvakama va moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. So even though we may approach Kṛṣṇa with material desires, but Kṛṣṇa is so powerful. The moment we come in touch with Kṛṣṇa, all our material desires will go away. So although kubjā had lusty feelings towards Kṛṣṇa, but the moment Kṛṣṇa came to her house and she touched the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa, all her lusty desires were vanished. So that is the power of coming in touch with Kṛṣṇa in any form, either through his holy names or through his devotees or through his deities. And here kubjā was fortunate to directly come in touch with Kṛṣṇa's lotus feet. And the moment she touched the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa, all her material desires were vanished. It is also said, therefore, in Bhagavatam, many beautiful verses. In 3rd canto, there is a verse where Kapil Dev is instructing his mother Devahuti, and he was instructing that how can meditate on Kṛṣṇa's special form. So how the meditation should start? From his lotus feet. So when we have darshan also, first we are supposed to have darshan of lotus feet. And Kapil Dev says one should meditate for a long time on the lotus feet. Not immediately we should know. So for a few seconds at least we should look at the lotus feet of the Lord, and then move upwards to the knees, thighs, waist, chest, and then come to the beautiful face. Of course the face is the most beautiful part of the Lord's body. But for devotees, what is more important is lotus feet. Because mercy actually flows from lotus feet. So therefore lotus feet is very important for devotees. And in that shloka it is said that the Lord's lotus feet, which decorated with marks of lotus and thunderbolt and flag and other auspicious symbols, the moment we meditate on that, so we have heaps, we have mountains of sin in our heart. But all those big mountains, when there is a thunderbolt strike, what happens? The mountain gets cracked. Huge hills and mountains can be cracked by thunderbolt. So similarly, in our hearts we may have big, anarthas may be huge, like big hills, big mountains, even bigger than Mount Everest. But then the Lord's lotus feet are so powerful that if we meditate on Lord's lotus feet, then big hills will be cracked and finished. So that is the special mercy that we can get from Lord's lotus feet. And that is practically we see in the pastime of kubjā. Later we'll see that just by the touch of Kṛṣṇa's lotus feet, all her material desires were removed. We know there are so many pastimes, the glories of Lord's lotus feet, how even Lord Ram's Leela, we know that Ahalya, who was cursed to become a stone because of her some improper activities, but the moment Lord Ram stepped in the ashram and touched Ahalya, and immediately she regained her original form. So many wonders of Krishna's lotus feet. Know that Mother Ganga, she is so special because she is emanating from Lord's lotus feet. Bali Maharaj, he became glorified because he took Lord's lotus feet on his head. So this pastime of kubjā has many beautiful lessons. One of these things we can see the glories of Lord's lotus feet. And in today's purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, actually in his commentary, he writes that who is kubjā? So he says that kubjā is an expansion of Bhu-Shakti. You know, Krishna has many Shaktis, especially in South India. If you go, then in front of Lord Vishnu's deities, we'll have Bhu-Devi, Shri-Devi and Nila-Devi, three Shaktis. Bhu-Shakti, Chit-Shakti and Nila-Shakti, like that. There will be three Shaktis. So Bhu-Shakti is actually, so he's saying Bhu-Shakti is expansion of Satyabhama. So we know Lord's eternal consort in Dwarka. We know Rukmini, Shri-Devi and Satyabhama is Bhu-Devi. And Satyabhama's expansion is Prithvi. And that Prithvi is actually represented by kubjā. And why kubjā was hunchbacked? Why she was bent? Because the earth was overburdened by demoniac population, by the sinful activities. We know the whole story of Krishna's appearance. It begins with that point that Mother Earth takes the form of a cow and approaches Brahmaji, and then they all go to Lord Vishnu. So the earth was overburdened, or the earth was bent because of the sinful activities of sinful and demoniac kings like Kamsa and others. So therefore, this kubjā represents earth. And what is this pastime of straightening her? So Krishna was telling that, wait, just now I have come here and I will remove all the burden from earth, and earth can become straight again. The earth is bent now because of all these sinful activities, but don't worry, very soon I will make the earth back to its normal position, make it straight, very beautiful. So that's what Krishna will do. He will kill Kamsa, and then later Jarasandha, and so many other demoniac kings will all be killed and finished by Krishna. And finally, whoever kings were remaining, Krishna killed all of them at once in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Krishna is so smart. He said, how many places I will go? You know, he just called everyone at one place and finished everyone. So this is what one of the reasons of Krishna's incarnation, that paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya satuskrita, that is killing or destroying the miscreants and protecting the sinful people, and protecting the pious devotees and establishing dharma sansthapanarthaya. So these are of course various reasons of Krishna's appearance, but we know that Krishna has many reasons for appearance. So these reasons are important, but not that important. What is the most important reason for Krishna's appearance? Is to attract us by his wonderful pastimes. Because all these things, killing of demons, protecting devotees, Krishna personally did not come for all that. His energies are sufficient to do that. Right? But Krishna personally comes to this earth to display his wonderful pastimes, like we are reading now. Delivering kubjā, then blessing Sudama. So all these beautiful pastimes, imagine if Krishna wouldn't have come, then what you would have discussed in Bhagavatam class. Right? So Krishna mainly comes to perform his wonderful pastimes so that we are attracted, we conditioned souls. How can we be attracted to Krishna? We can be attracted to Krishna by hearing his pastimes. And that is the reason why Krishna actually comes, to display his wonderful pastimes. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham dehamashrita bhajate tadrishi krida yaha shutva tat paro bhavet. In 10th canto, in the Rasa-lila section, this verse was there. Very important verse, that anugrahaya bhaktanam, to bestow special mercy to devotees, Krishna comes and performs his beautiful pastimes. Yaha shutva, so that when we hear these pastimes, what happens? We become attracted to Krishna. We want to serve Krishna. So these pastimes are supposed to give us so much inspiration. Just look at Kubja. She just offered some chandan, some sandalwood to Kṛṣṇa, and she got so much in return. Right? She became so beautiful. Then Kṛṣṇa personally came to her. So that means little service we do to Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa reciprocates in such a magnified, multiplied way. Little service to Kṛṣṇa. Like Putana's story, we know. At what service Putana did? Actually, she came to kill Kṛṣṇa. But still Kṛṣṇa is so merciful that Kṛṣṇa gave Putana the position of mother in the spiritual world. Aho bakiyam stanakal kutam jigham shayaya apayadapya sadvi lebhe gatim dhatri muchitam tatonyam kamva dayalum sharanam brajema. Very beautiful verse of Bhagavatam. That Putana, she came to kill Kṛṣṇa. She applied poison in her breast. But Kṛṣṇa is so merciful that he accepted her as his mother, because she came in the form of a mother, disguised in the form of a mother, to feed milk. And Kṛṣṇa gave her the position of mother in spiritual world, like a dhatri, like a nurse, equal to mother. So that is Kṛṣṇa's great mercy. So here we see Kubja just gave little bit of sandalwood to Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa was so happy with her that he immediately made her very beautiful, and he actually came to her house also and purified her completely of all material desires. So this is these beautiful pastimes of Kṛṣṇa are all meant to attract us towards Kṛṣṇa, to inspire us that who can be more merciful than Kṛṣṇa. So we should get inspired that let us dedicate this life for the service of Kṛṣṇa, because no one can be more merciful than Kṛṣṇa. Otherwise, what other option we have? We have only two options: to serve Kṛṣṇa or to serve Maya. There's a nice verse Rupa Gosvāmī says that for how long will you keep on serving lust, anger, greed and different forms? For how long will you serve Maya? He said no. He said let's pray to Kṛṣṇa that from today, for many lifetimes I have been serving all these material desires and they have never been satisfied. But now from today I want to serve you, Kṛṣṇa. Right? So these pastimes are supposed to inspire us to take shelter of Kṛṣṇa and to feel more inspired to do devotional service. Therefore, hearing of Kṛṣṇa's pastimes, reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing is so important, because otherwise we lose our enthusiasm in devotional service. Especially after, initially we are enthusiastic, but especially after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, slowly we see the enthusiasm goes down. This is because, one of the reasons is because we don't take to the process of hearing and reading seriously. So therefore we must continue to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and read Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the books by Srila Prabhupada. And if we do that, definitely we'll maintain our enthusiasm in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So this is what we'll see later, this beautiful pastime. And Kṛṣṇa was joking actually. You see, so Kṛṣṇa is, it is the term mentioned here is rasa-pradaḥ. That means Kṛṣṇa is full of, rasa vaisa. He's always giving transcendental mellows, he's relishing himself and causing the devotees to relish different rasas. So because he was with his friends, so normally what we do with friends, we joke around, we laugh, we make our friends laugh. So by speaking like that to Kubja, Kṛṣṇa was making his friends laugh or making them happy. And then very soon Kṛṣṇa will make Kubja straight. So this is like all, like Kṛṣṇa is, so in one pastime he satisfied so many people. That is also Kṛṣṇa's greatness. So in the pastime of delivering Kubja, he is not only delivering Kubja, but he is also giving happiness to his friends who are with him. So Kṛṣṇa came with his group of friends, right? So you don't enjoy alone. So that is, you see, always Kṛṣṇa is never alone, always with his devotees. So when he is touring Mathura also, so he is with Balaram, so Kṛṣṇa, Balaram and all their cowherd boyfriends. They are together going to different places. And then later in this chapter we will see that how Kṛṣṇa will go to the place where the sacrificial bow was kept. But that is the reason why Akrura came to invite Kṛṣṇa, right? You come for the Dhanur Yajna and wrestling match. So Kṛṣṇa, he himself immediately will go there and he will break the sacrificial bow, just like Lord Ramachandra broke the vow. So very effortlessly. Similarly, Kṛṣṇa, he will break the bow And with those broken pieces of the bow, because Kṛṣṇa, in Vrindavan, does Kṛṣṇa carry any weapon? No, no weapons. So when Kṛṣṇa came to Mathura, it's not that he carried some revolver or some sword with him. No, he came without any weapon. So when he broke the bow, so that became his weapon. He took that pieces of bow, and with that he finished all the soldiers of Kamsa. When all the soldiers came to attack him, Kṛṣṇa finished them with this bow. And later we will see when Kṛṣṇa killed Kuvalyapida elephant, he took the tusk, and that tusk became his weapon. So Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, they both carried one tusk, and with that they finished all the soldiers. So Kṛṣṇa never carries any weapons in Vrindavan. His hands are enough, So now when after coming to Mathura, then he'll start carrying Sudarshan and different saranga, his bow, and etc. But now he's just coming fresh from Vrindavan, so he doesn't have any weapons, right? So these are the beautiful pastimes of Kṛṣṇa. So now let's discuss a little bit on the glories of Srila Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī. I don't know, by some arrangement, I mean, last 2-3 times when I've come to give a class, it has been either disappearance or appearance of Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī. So I think special mercy of Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī. So today also happens to be the disappearance day of Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī. So we all know that Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī is one of the 6 Goswāmis, which are very, very important, Sat Goswāmis. Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. So the 6 Goswamis, they play a very important role in our Krishna consciousness. They're the direct followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they were the one who were empowered to propagate the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Mahaprabhu himself, he didn't write any books. He just compiled the Sikshashtakam verses, he just spoke those verses, and which Kṛṣṇa Kaviraj Goswami compiled together in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But he empowered the 6 Goswamis to write literatures. He empowered the 6 Goswamis to come to Vrindavan and reveal Vrindavan to the entire world. He told them to establish temples in Vrindavan, to find out the lost places of Krishna's pastimes, and to actually by their own behavior, he wanted the 6 Goswamis to set an ideal example of how Vaishnava should behave. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually empowered the 6 Goswamis to actually establish Gaudiya Vaishnavism in a very systematic and proper way. So that's how the 6 Goswamis they did. They studied in Vrindavan, and their contribution is very, very important in our Gaudiya Vaishnava history. So all the 6 Goswamis, they resided in Vrindavan. So therefore, especially for those who are living in Vrindavan, their lives and teachings are even all the more important for us. Echhai Gosai Jabe Braja Koilo Vas, Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Karila Prakash. So we should always remember the 6 Goswamis. Echhai Gosai Kari Charana Bandhan, Jaha Hoite Bigna Nas Abhishta Puran. By just remembering the 6 Goswamis, all the obstacles in our bhakti will go away, and we'll achieve our desired goal, which is Krishna Prem. So therefore we should always remember the 6 Goswamis, chant the Sat Goswami Ashtakam, and especially on the days of appearance and disappearance of the 6 Goswamis, we should remember them. Recently we had Sanatan Goswami's disappearance day, and today is the disappearance day of Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī. And all the Goswamis, they had very special services, and they have played very important role. Like Sanatan Goswami, he wrote many books, and especially he was famous for preaching to the Brajvasis in general. That is why on his disappearance day, all the Brajvasis, they shaved their head. Even today is called Mudya Purnima. Of course, many people don't know the reason, but still old Brajvasis, they still know that the parampara of doing Govardhan Parikrama and shaving head is because of in honor of the parampara started to honor Srila Sanatan Goswami. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami, his unique contribution was that he initiated many disciples. Because other Goswamis, some of them didn't initiate many disciples, but Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he initiated many disciples. And he, of course, what is his most important contribution? Manifesting deities of Shri Radha Raman. So that's one is a unique contribution. And also, he helped in writing many books. So one of the important things of Gopal Bhatta Goswami was his great humility. He never wanted his name to come. So he played a very important role in writing the Sat Sandarbhas, which we know that Jiva Goswami has written, this Bhagavad Sandarbha, Karma Sandarbha, Paramatma Sandarbha, 6 Sandarbhas. But Gopal Bhatta Goswami played a very important role, but he never wanted his name to appear in those books. Similarly, Hari Bhakti Vilas, which Sanatana Goswami composed, Gopal Bhatta Goswami also played a very important role in that, because he came from Sri Vaishnava family in South India. So he knew all the rules and regulations of deity worship or different festivals as per Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. So Hari Bhakti Vilas contains all the rules and regulations. So he played a very important role in compiling that book, but again he didn't want his name to appear in the book. Just see how such a contrast. We, especially me or conditioned people like me, we always want our name to come. Even if we have done little contribution, no, my name should come first, that I have done this service. But just see the opposite nature, the ideal nature of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. He never wanted his name to come. In fact, when Kṛṣṇa's Kaviraj Goswami went to every Vaishnava in Vrindavan to take their blessings before writing Chaitanya Charitamrita, where he went to Gopal Bhatta Goswami, you know what Gopal Bhatta Goswami said? He said, I can give you my blessings only in one condition. What is that condition? That my name should not appear in this book. Just see Gopal Bhatta Goswami's genuine humility. Just see, our condition completely opposite. We want our name to come again and again. We want fame, but you see what a true Vaishnava is. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitaṁ va jagadisha kamai, mama janmani janmanishvare, bhavatat bhakti rahetu ketve. So this is what we see Gopal Bhatta Goswami. He didn't want fame. He didn't. Therefore, in the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita, you never see the name of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, except one or two places where he says, these are the 6 Goswamis. But you'll not see the life of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Just like we see something about life of Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Jiva Goswami also. But we don't see anything in Chaitanya Charitamrita about life of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Because this is a secret. Because when he went to ask permission from, when Kṛṣṇa's Kaviraj Goswami went to seek his blessings, he told him that don't mention my name in this book. And there was another Vaishnava who did like that, Loknath Goswami. So therefore, we don't see anything about these 2 Vaishnavas in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Loknath Goswami. So anyway, but how do we know? Because Narahari Chakravarti in Bhaktini Ratnakar, he has written the pastimes of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So that's how we know the pastimes of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami was the son of Venkata Bhatta, who was the chief head priest of Srirangam temple. Not a small position, because Srirangam temple, even now if you go, it's the biggest Hindu temple. Huge. And the whole city is centered around that temple of Srirangam. And being the head priest of that is a very big position. So his father was the head priest of Srirangam temple, Venkata Bhatta. And coming in the lineage of Sri Vaishnavas. And Venkata Bhatta, I think, had 2 more brothers, Prabodhananda Saraswati and one more, I think Tirumala, I don't know the name. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing his South India tour, so after sannyas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri, he delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, had darshan of Jagannath, and then immediately started his South India tour. So he started his South India tour probably, it is said around May or June, and then he travelled all across Andhra, different places like Kurmakshetra and Ahobilam and different places. And then he reached Srirangam, probably the next year. That means he started his South India tour in 1510, and I think he reached Srirangam in 1511. And that time it was just the beginning of Chaturmas. Like now, Chaturmas just began 3 days back. So when Mahaprabhu reached Srirangam, it was just the beginning of Chaturmas. And whichever temple Mahaprabhu went, he always did Sankirtan. And in Srirangam also, when Mahaprabhu was doing Sankirtan, and people are so much attracted by his beautiful bodily features, by the ecstatic dancing and chanting. So millions of people came all around him. And it was huge and loud Sankirtan, chanting of the holy names. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And Venkata and all his family members, they also joined. And after the Kirtan, then Venkata he fell down at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu and invited him for lunch to his home. And then Mahaprabhu went to their house and he had lunch, and all the family members. Gopal was his young boy that time, around 7 or 8-year-old boy. And all the family members, they were so grateful. They worshipped the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. And after he honored Prasad, Venkata requested Mahaprabhu, "Oh my Lord, the Chaturmas has just begun, and saints generally are not supposed to travel in Chaturmas." Why? Because a lot of rains during this time. Like today morning, fortunately, we had good rain. But these days, rains has decreased. But in those days, a lot of, and especially South India, we have a lot of rain. And because there were no sannyasis used to walk. So it's not easy to walk in when it's raining, it's all muddy everywhere, and staying at different places is difficult. So usually during Chaturmas, the saints used to stay at one place. In one ashram, they used to stay for 4 months. And remaining 8 months, they used to travel. But 4 months of Chaturmas, they used to stay at one place. We know the story of Narad Muni also. That how Narad Muni, when he was the son of maid servant, right? So he was blessed by the sadhus who were staying for Chaturmas at one ashram. So similarly, so Mahaprabhu, when he was at Srirangam, so Venkata requested that, "Oh my dear Lord, please stay here for 4 months. This is my request." So Mahaprabhu agreed, and for 4 months continuously, they were immersed in either Kirtan or Kṛṣṇa Kirtan or Kṛṣṇa Katha. That's all. 24 hours. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the entire family of Venkata, either they were chanting or they were discussing some pastimes of Kṛṣṇa. Imagine, this is, the highest aspiration that a devotee should have. That when the day will come, will be engaged fully in either chanting Krishna's names or hearing and discussing about Krishna's pastimes. So Venkata and Mahaprabhu, they had many wonderful conversations. And one of the very famous conversations, I will just tell in brief, that once Mahaprabhu jokingly, he told Venkata that because Venkata, coming from Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, they worship Lakshmi Narayan as their Ishtadev. And we Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we worship Radha and Kṛṣṇa. So once Mahaprabhu jokingly told him, "Venkata, why your goddess Lakshmi, why she leaves Narayan and she wants to associate with Kṛṣṇa and she wants to participate in Rasa Leela?" So Venkata said, "What is the problem? Kṛṣṇa and Narayan are the same persons. So there is no fault on part of Lakshmi Devi. Because Krishna's pastime is somewhat attractive, so she wanted to participate in Krishna's pastimes. There is no fault." Then Mahaprabhu jokingly said, "Okay, I agree that Kṛṣṇa and Narayan are the same person, no problem. But why Lakshmi was not given an entrance to Rasa Leela? She wanted to join Rasa Leela, but she was not allowed. We know in Braj, still the place is there, Belvan. How many of you have been there? Have you been there? Belvan near Bhandirvan. Where Lakshmi Devi still, there is a temple of Lakshmi Devi and still doing tapasya, but she was not allowed entrance to Rasa Leela. Mahaprabhu said even Shruti-chari Gopi, even the Vedas, they were allowed. So many other devotees were allowed, but why Lakshmi Devi was not allowed?" So Venkata said, "I have no idea, you please tell." Then Mahaprabhu said that one can enter Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan only by following in the footsteps of the Brajavasis, or especially the Gopis. And one has to take a very humble role. One has to become the servant of the Gopis. Gopi bhartur padakamleo dasa dasa anudas. Then you can enter Vrindavan. But Lakshmi Devi, she didn't want to give up her position of being Lakshmi. That the great position that she is the goddess of fortune. She was not ready to give up that conception. Sarva padhi vinirmukta tat paratena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti roshati. So somehow she was she could not give up that conception, and she was not ready to follow the footsteps of the gopis, and that's why she could not enter Vrindavan. So in this way Mahaprabhu established the highest position of the gopis, and also he established the tattva, that how actually Kṛṣṇa tattva is higher than Narayan, and he proved that ete chansa kalapunsa Kṛṣṇastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Loke Nidayanti Yogi. See Mahaprabhu's great contribution. Before him, nobody had idea about Kṛṣṇa. They all thought that Kṛṣṇa is one of the incarnations of Narayan. It's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established that Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then our Srila Prabhupada actually emphasized so much on this point. Otherwise, nobody knew. You ask any even Indians, they all thought that Kṛṣṇa is just simply one of the incarnations. It's only Srila Prabhupada, by reading Srila Prabhupada books, we come to know about this point. That how Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the name of Prabhupada's book, Kṛṣṇa. So in this way, they had beautiful conversations for 4 months. But this Gopal, young boy, he was very much attracted by Mahaprabhu. All the time, 24 hours he was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes serving his lotus feet. And Mahaprabhu also used to give him remnants of his Mahaprasad. So never he gave up the company of Mahaprabhu. And then after 4 months, so naturally when Mahaprabhu was going, he was leaving Srirangam to carry on with his South Indian tour. So young Gopal, he started crying that I want to go with you. And then Mahaprabhu said, no, you can't come now. You stay with your parents, you serve them. They are great Vaishnavas. When they go back home back to Godhead, then you come to Vrindavan. That was the instruction given by Mahaprabhu to Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī, and that is what he did. He served his parents, he took his education at Srirangam. He was a great scholar. He became very famous throughout India, not only for his scholarship, but for his great character. And then after, when his parents were about to depart, they gave their full blessings to him. He said, go and serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, go to Vrindavan. And that's how Gopal he went to Vrindavan. One very special pastime happened actually in Srirangam. So Gopal, although he was having darshan of Mahaprabhu, but he was little morose. Why? Because Mahaprabhu was in the form of a sannyasi. Now devotees, they don't like to worship Mahaprabhu in the form of a sannyasi. Like here we worship God Nitai. So Mahaprabhu is having beautiful hairs. He's not in the form of a sannyasi. He's wearing beautiful dress and wearing different ornaments and different beautiful flowers. But as sannyasi, he is very plain, very simple, just wearing one cloth and shaven head. Devotees don't want to worship in that form. So Gopal was thinking in his heart that I am so unfortunate that I never had darshan of beautiful Gauranga Sundar form in Navadip. So like that he was thinking. Then suddenly he saw that Mahaprabhu, when he had darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, suddenly he saw that Mahaprabhu's form changed to that of Shyam-sundar, Kṛṣṇa, threefold bending form and holding a flute in his hand. And then that form again changed to the form of Gaurasundar in Navadip. Beautiful form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, having beautiful curly hairs, having beautiful malati, flowers on his head, and beautiful ornaments, and yellow dhoti, golden dhoti. So that beautiful form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu he had darshan. And then again that form changed to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as sannyasi. So he was very happy to have vision of that form. And later when Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī came to Vrindavan, so immediately Rupa and Sanatan, they already knew that a great devotee named Gopal will come. And they immediately sent a letter to Mahaprabhu that Gopal has come to Vrindavan. And when Mahaprabhu got that letter, he was so happy that my dear Gopal, he has come to Vrindavan. He was very pleased. Immediately he sent few gifts for Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī. His sitting place, his wooden plank, and his cloth, kopin. So even till today, these gifts are there in Radharaman temple. The sitting place, the wooden plank where Mahaprabhu used to sit, and his kopin, I think, his clothes. And Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī stayed at Vrindavan. He was always under the care and guidance of Rupa and Sanatan. And they were together. They used to discuss Kṛṣṇa Katha and chant together and plan together how to push forward this movement of Mahaprabhu. And as I told you that Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī, he made many disciples. And especially he manifested Radharaman. We all know this pastime. In very short, I will just tell that how on the day of Narsingha Chaturdasi, actually before that, he went to Gandaki river because in a dream Mahaprabhu told that he should worship Shaligram Shila. So he went there and he brought those Shaligram Shilas, he was worshipping them. But he was always feeling, once on the day of Narsimha Chaturdasi, he had a desire that I want to worship Kṛṣṇa in his personal form, in his beautiful Tribhanga form. So he had that desire, and the next day morning what happened? One of the Shilas, Damodar Shila, manifested as the beautiful form of Shri Radha Raman. And that's the appearance day of Radha Raman, the day after Narsimha Chaturdasi. And all the Vaishnavas came, and there was a great festival, grand Abhishek of Radha Raman. And they have a very high standard of deity worship. Even Srila Prabhupada told that we should learn the standard of deity worship from Radha Raman temple. So, but Gopal Bhatta Goswami, although he was very happy serving Radha Raman, but still he had one reason for being little disappointed or morose. And what was that? He remembered that my parents ordered me to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My life is meant to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But I am not getting any opportunity to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. Because after that 4 months, he never had darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was feeling a little morose in his heart. So in that time, when he went to have darshan of Radha Raman, so he saw the deities of Radha Raman changed into the form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So then he was very happy. Then he paid immediately obeisance. He realized that Radha Raman is not different from his Ishtadev Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So then he was very happy. So therefore, when we have darshan of Radha Raman, we should also think that Radha Raman is not different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, Kṛṣṇa is not different from Gauranga, but especially Radha Raman deity for Gopal Bhatta Goswami was his worshipable Lord, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So there, in this way, Gopal Bhatta Goswami has a very important role in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, and especially even now we can have darshan of Radha Raman, very, very beautiful. It is said that it's a combination of all the three deities, Radha Madan Mohan and Govindji and Gopinath, self-manifest deity of Kṛṣṇa. So today let us pray at the feet of Gopal Bhatta Goswami for his mercy on all of us. Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki jai, Shri Radha Raman ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments or questions? Yes, Mataji. Okay.
Baba was always from morning chanting and serving devotees.
Okay.
However sick he was always chanting. Bhagavatam was being read. So, and a lot of our ISKCON devotees also. So, Jai Ghanshyam Baba Maharaj.
Jai. Ghanshyam.
Ghanshyam.
Yeah, so Mataji is saying there was a great devotee, Ghanshyam Babaji, who was just at the Samadhi of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Yes, so we also have the Samadhi of Gopal Bhatta Goswami next to Radha Raman temple. So usually sometimes devotees don't go there, but whenever we go to Radha Raman temple, we should go to the Samadhi of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And at Samadhi there was a great devotee who was staying for 101 years. So Mataji, yes Mataji. Well, I have not come across such a thing, but all we know is that he left his body there itself near Radharaman temple, and that's why Samadhi is there just next to Radharaman temple. I don't know if someone else has any details about exact way in which he disappeared. maybe, I'm sorry. But we know that it disappeared on today's Tithi and near Radharaman temple, and that's how we have his Samadhi there. That's his original Samadhi near Radharaman temple. Thank you. Okay. Hare, yes, last.
My question is, why vilokya
Okay, very good question. Radha Raman means one who enchants Radharani. Raman means one who pleases or one who enchants. So Radha Raman means is the name of Kṛṣṇa who is enchanting Radharani. That's how it's only Kṛṣṇa's deity. But we know that in Kṛṣṇa, Radharani is always there. They're non-different. So they're together always, right? So therefore, there is no separate deity of Radharani because Radharani is already, you can say, in with Kṛṣṇa, non-different.
But I heard that Radharani is present, is represented by, I forgot,
Yeah, nearby they have the name of Radharani, they have a representation of Radharani also, right? But they don't have a separate deity, yeah. Because it's a combined, so you can say Radharani is already part of Radharaman. Yeah. Okay?
So another question is, you say that in contact with Kṛṣṇa, we become purified of the still desire.
Yes.
So, but I see that even when we become practicing Krishna consciousness, when the lusty desire still come in many forms, certain forms.
Okay, nice question. Prabhuji is saying that we discussed that how lusty desires, they go away when we come in touch with Kṛṣṇa, but even after practicing for many years, we see it's there. So there are two answers to this. One is that we need to have some patience, it will go away, definitely is reducing. And secondly also depends on the intensity of devotional service. So if we do tivrena bhakti yogena, if we very intensely do devotional service, then very quickly this lusty desires will be freed. Ultimately it depends on Kṛṣṇa's mercy. So we have to pray for Kṛṣṇa's mercy. By his mercy, all these anarthas will go away. Okay? Like by hearing Nashta Prayas of Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, by reading Bhagavatam every day, by chanting holy names every day, by praying to lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa every day, by doing services, very soon this will go away. Okay? Don't worry. Yes. Thank you. Hare Krishna.